We're ready. The older ones are ready for it. We certainly thank the young people this morning for their constant participation in worship. This is not a church of discrimination. This is a church of integration. So we allow seniors as well as little ones to feel a part of the worship. Little ones are coming and the seniors have gone. I'm not talking about me. I'm not talking about the seniors. How is school? How are things going in school with your young people? Everything is all right? Any problems? No. Any challenges? No. Answer me. Are you having any problems? Good. Everything is okay. I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to you. Is everything okay? You know, give me an indication of how things are with you in school. Yeah, so. They say so. That's good. That's good. You see, my friends, life is a challenge. And this challenge comes to us in different ways. And I'm glad that the young people did not say things are great. If any one of you said things are great, you're not doing well in school. The environment might be great, but individuals are facing trials and temptation in school. This morning we are going to begin the study of the book of James. We looked at Ruth and we saw her in her struggles. And thank God the story ends with tremendous victory for her. Life is like that. When you go through the rigors of life, if your intention was good, in the end when your blessing comes, you will not be surprised. Sometimes you may be shocked. This morning we're going to turn to James chapter 1. The book of James chapter 1. You know, I remember as a young boy, a younger boy, I'm still a boy. I remember that I lived in a little agricultural place with big names, Little Bush, that I had to walk barefooted. And it's only I alone walked barefooted when I was. But anyhow, walk barefooted through the path, little track, to get to the rocky road, which will lead me or led me to the little town. Bush, barefooted, rocky road, little path, rocky road. Now, here I am. Have more shoes than I can manage. You just say shoes. And I talk. Now I realize that those conditions were obligations for success. Obligations for success. Not obstructions to prevent me from pressing forward. Obligations, not obstructions. The Christian journey is like that. The Christian journey is obligation to success, not obstructions which prevent you from serving God. My friends, what the Ruth story has taught, and others, is that the road may be rocky, the path may be tough, but your intentions, if your intentions are for success, you can achieve success. I want you to understand, young people, that you may be getting D's and A's, D's and B's today. But press on. Press on. Because you who are called, well, I don't know if you're called these days dunce. Did you use that word today? Dunce. You who may be called a dunce today, if you press on, intending to succeed, you will be a doctor tomorrow. It's not the past. It's not the beginning. It's where you are going when you get there. Regardless of where we are on the journey, we are regular social beings with a sinful nature. Regardless of whether you're A student or B, whether you're a doctor or whatever, we are regular social beings with a sinful nature. And the problem is, success can be hindered because you are sinful nature. But you are climbing the ladder of spiritual maturity, hoping to hear, "Well done, thou good and faithful servants," at the end of the road. The beginning may be tough, but there is an end, and that end depends on you. For a successful journey, we must develop wisdom and persevere in our walk with man and God. As you continue your journey, you have to be conscious of the fact that you have to persevere in your walk with God, because you're dealing with man and God. Many of us would like to deal with nice, perfect Christians all the time. Unfortunately, it cannot be, it will not be. So James, the book of James, written by the brother of Jesus, addresses Christians everywhere. Christians everywhere. Unlike the other epistles, like Corinthians and so on, they address places and churches. The book of James addresses Christians everywhere. No particular location, no particular people. The book of James tells you that there is a Christian culture There is a Christian culture. Despite what is going on in the U.S., in the United States, in the Caribbean or otherwise, there is a Christian culture which unites people of God everywhere. It doesn't matter if we speak different language. There's a Christian culture in the mix. And unless we get to that culture, unless we maintain that culture, we are not going to get to the promised land. So this morning, my topic is, maintain your Christian culture. Maintain your Christian culture. Nowadays, when we look at what's going on in the social arena, it's as though God is absent. Even the church, some of the things that they do are promoting the social element, not preserving the Christian culture. You see, my friends, as I've said very often, and you know, when the church door is open, everybody is free to enter. When we leave the church, everybody is free to take what they get. Some of us get nothing, but many of us are held by the Christian culture. So I'm going to look into the Christian culture with you. And I'm saying, with all that is going on, there is a Christian culture. The Christian culture is based on Jesus Christ. And we have been talking about culture. We have not directly addressed culture, but we have talked about the culture. Read James chapter 1 and verse 4. Chapter 1 and verse 4. Let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. What do you understand from that? If you're going to advance in the Christian culture, you've got to be patient. You've got to be patient. Because the society does not show that we are in the majority. Society shows that we are in the minority. Doesn't necessarily mean that. We have got to be patient in our advancement and wait on God, because He can reveal great things through little people. So you are minor for society, but major for success. Because God is in the vessel, and we can smile at the storm. Just like I said about young people in studying. And you know that, because many of us have been there. We were nothing when we started. Nothing significant. But you're nurses, you're teachers, shoemakers, fishermen today. Remember those days when you were a teenager and things were not very healthy at home, and you did not have all the academic skills or educational opportunities. But that was then. Look at yourself now. So be patient. Be patient. Be patient with yourself. Take your time. Take it easy. Don't worry, but work. Preserve your Christian culture. Chapter 1 and verse 12. Chapter 1 and verse 12. The first point I want to make this morning is to ask you to preserve your Christian walk. Preserve your Christian walk, despite what it appears and how it appears to be. preserve your Christian walk. The Christian walk I'm talking about refers to values, the Christian values. Let's have the verse up. James 1 and verse 12. Preserve your Christian values. Let's read. Blessed is the man who endures temptation, for when he has been approved, he will receive the crown of life, which the Lord has promised to those who love him. Society is teaching us that there are different cultures, even giving the impression that there is different methods to get to God. There's only one method to get to God. Jesus Christ says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes into the Father, gets to the Father, but through me. What is society saying about righteousness? About what is accepted and what not accepted? The culture is different in the society. Culture is varied. The culture changes like styles. You know, ladies, as one thing the men have over you. Men preserve their styles. Women change their styles daily. Right? They change their styles daily. Ever mean to hear, oh, this style is not in. This is in. That is out. But men, put on them pants and them shirt. Everywhere, every time. Men are in styles. Men don't have to worry about that. The women represent the culture of today. The men represent the men represent culture. But not so in righteousness. Not so in righteousness. If you're a child of God, you have one culture. One culture. And that is the culture we are saying should be maintained. To the man who succeeds in trials and testings, there is joy here and in the hereafter. Yes, our culture is being challenged, but God is with us. And despite what society says, despite what America says, despite what is in or out, we stand on the fact that Jesus Christ came and died for us. And the standards of Christianity are there in the scriptures for us. And so, preserve your Christian culture. Happy is the man who does not give in. I'm talking about you and society. You cannot give in to society if you're going to maintain the Christian culture. You've got to judge what they say against what God says. Happy is the man who does not give in, does not do wrongs when he is tempted. For afterwards he will get as his reward a crown of life that God has promised him. We're talking about trials and temptation. Some of these cultural practices today are trying, they are trials and temptation. And they are trying the Christian. Because sometimes in some environment you don't know who is Christian and who is not. You don't. Because they're captured. They're captured. You can be captured by society. Oh, it's all right to have a drink. have a drink. But who stops at a drink? Who stops at a drink? They don't stop. It stops you sometimes. Society. And the Christian can gamble. Christian can be engaged in a lot of immoral activities. And it looks like it's right. It's accepted. It's okay. It's in. But what is in sometimes is out for God and the Christian culture. All of us are born with a sinful nature, and we are prone to do wrongs. We are born with a nature, and we are prone to do wrongs. Let's turn to Psalm 51 and verse 5. Psalm 51 and verse 5. And just backing up what I said. We are born with a sinful nature, and we are prone to do wrong. Prone to do wrong. Prone does not mean you do wrong. Behold, read please. Behold, I was brought forth in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. So then, we are born with the potential of evil. But remember, friends, having been born that way, Jesus saw us. Jesus knew us. He knew our sin. But the redemptive work of Jesus Christ transmit a power that can change a sinner into a child of God. We don't have to sin, though you are born to sin. You don't have to. You don't have to do every evil. You don't have to obey society, because Jesus Christ has come with the power within us to change us. So yes, I was born in sin, but I don't stay there because of Jesus Christ. Sin shall not have dominion. Look, we are born in sin, but the same Bible says in Romans 6 and verse 14, sin shall not have dominion. Sin shall not master. I'm born in it, but it doesn't born. I wasn't born to be mastered by sin. So there's hope. There's hope for every person here this morning can have the sense and have the power to overcome sin. If that is not so, the Bible is wrong. The Bible says, sin shall not have power over me. Though society is showing you other sins, other righteousness, but sin shall not have dominion over me. And you know, if we live our lives, if we leave our homes, if we go out day by day saying, sin, the sin is in my mind, you're not going to have dominion over me today. So when you meet with a group of persons, group of young people and so on, and older ones, yes, I know that I can sin, but I don't have to sin. I don't have to do what you say. I don't have to obey your luring. I can stand up because Jesus Christ is in me. You see, my friends, you've got to face it that way. You know you can do it, but you don't have to do it. So James says, happy is the man who does not do it. But be not a person who is weak and a victim to sin. Trials and temptations will come. Some trials are meant to accomplish positive outcomes. Some trials are meant to help you to overcome. If you're in a group of people, and there is a lot of temptations around to sin, and you stand up for Jesus, when you overcome that one, another time you meet 5 more, you remember how you overcame. You're accustomed to overcoming. Just like sin. If you sin, you're accustomed to sinning. It's the same thing with the grace of God. Trials and temptation will come. Must come. But you don't have to be a victim to trial and temptation. You can be a victor. Some of us experience trials in some environment, but the nature of our lives are testimonies that God is good and great and powerful. Yes, you're going to experience temptation, but what you do expresses what you believe in Jesus Christ. What you do determines what you believe. Our lives determine what success we've had and we are having. And so, my friends, God is depending on us to maintain the Christian culture. And by culture is everything we say and do as a part of society. Everything we say and do, that's culture as a part of society. And as we go through the book of James, you will hear some things, some cultural practices then, and you will be able to examine where you are now with them. Sin is not getting any less. Sin is not getting any less. But the grace of God is getting more. Because where sin exists, the power of God exists more. Wherever you find sin, when you're tempted to sin, just pause. Be patient. You hear a little voice saying, press on. Remember me? The Holy Spirit. I am the Spirit. The Spirit not meant to be a victim. The Spirit meant to be a victor. Every one of you can overcome temptation to sin